take a picture of that, because that makes more sense to me.
Well, but this is all on
I know,
Blackboard.
no, like, just seeing it here.
Okay, fine. All right, so here are all the things you need to know for Practical 3. Test setup, substrates, reagents, pH indicators, presence, absence indicators, results, pH of results, end of product, enzymes, evaluation of the test. You gotta know everything, okay? Here are all the tests you need to know. McConkey, EMB, heptone, oxidase, catalase, phenylalanine, deaminase, the decarboxylase test, blood agar, AMP sensitivity. Columbular blood, we won't do that because we didn't do that here, that's an HLC thing. With PEA, bile esculin, 6.5 salt tolerance, mannitol salt, no bias and sensitivity. We didn't do coagulase here, we did Staphylotec here instead,
Okay.
okay?
So Staphylotec instead of coagulase?
Correct. And UV, standard, you need to know UV, and then antimicrobial sensitivity. Yes? You need to know all that. This is on Blackboard for you, on site. Okay, it's there. All right, now let's go. So, this is blood agar, and what type of hemolysis is that?
Beta.
So if you are in the test and you can't appreciate that that's clear, you can raise your hand and say, Pro V, what does the area around the color look like? And I will say clear. But you cannot say, Pro V, can you confirm that that's beta hemolytic? I'll give you the look. Yes.
This is unique to me, but I had a couple questions on the test last time, and I'm debating not taking it in the testing center, just so I can.
You and I need to talk about that individually.
Okay.
Okay? So, what type of media is this?
5%.
5%
What,
sheep's blood.
5%. Very good. So here, identify the hemolysis here.
Is that green?
Yes, green.
Alpha.
So that's not a good way to say, is it green, right? Because you're having me confirm that, right? So you would say, Jen, can you tell me what the area, and I'll say it's a green area, all right? We know you didn't mean it that way. Okay, here we go. Based on the observations with hemolytic activity and bacitracin, identify the genus and species most likely isolated on this particular plate.
What?
So it says
Staph?
that, no,
Which one?
Staph?
What, no, not staph.
Staphylococcus? Oh wait, strepto,
Okay, it's
Oh,
strepto.
and it's.
Look,
It's-
group A, what is group A?
Streptococcus pyogenes.
Streptococcus pyogenes. But here you should say, oh, it's beta hemolytic, it's sensitive to the ADIS, the only thing that does that is Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay? You okay?
You said it's the only one that
Yep,
does what?
it's the only one that is sensitive to the ADIS and beta hemolytic. All right, here we go, look at here. So now, if you look at this, based on the, what's the beta hemolytic, what is the hemolytic activity here?
Is it green?
Alpha.
Alpha.
What's on the P disc?
A.
Off the chin. Is this sensitive or resistant to the P disc? Sensitive. So if it's alpha hemolytic and sensitive to the P disc, what is the genus and species? Streptococcus pneumoniae. You cannot just say pneumonia. You have to say Streptococcus.
I'm embarrassed to say these things out loud. Because no one can
Have I
pronounce
ever
it right.
been mean to you ever once?
No.
Then don't be embarrassed.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I can spell it, I think that matters more.
That's true.
All right.
What
So
is it, pneumonia?
Streptococcus
Streptococcus
pneumoniae.
pneumoniae.
So here,
Is it okay if we just write S pneumonia?
anything that follows the rules of binomial is fair.
Okay.
Is this underlined?
But if you say staph pneumoniae, that's gonna be
S,
wrong.
Period,
Maybe,
pneumonia.
did we have any other examples of with this blood agar, with the sensitivity to the opticin and the bacitracin, besides the S. pyogenes and S. pneumoniae?
We did not, but we could have easily put group B on here, and group B would have been resistant to everything,
Okay.
okay? All right, so is this resistant or sensitive to the P disc?
Resistant.
Why is this gonna be hard?
You brought in those bacteria names, so now.
Well, I told you practical 3 would be more challenging.
I understand.
All right, look at here. So I've got a purple color after 15 seconds.
Positive.
Is it positive for what?
Oxidase.
So is this an arrow or facultatively
Arrow.
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 Is it an enteric or non-enteric?
Non-enteric.
Good. If it was not purple, was it enteric or not enteric?
Enteric.
Is it a facultatively anaerobic or anaerobic?
Facultative anaerobic.
Why is this hard? Okay.
Wait, what was 8? Name which bacteria is positive.
You know, when I skip things, what does that mean?
We don't need to know it.
You don't need to know.
Wait.
We don't need to know it.
Because,
So it was
look, listen,
positive.
I could have easily made a big deal about alkylogenes faecalis and Pseudomonas aeruginosa when we were doing this. I did not. I didn't see the need to make it harder just because I could. So if I skip things, just not gonna.
I just want to make.
All right, here we go, mannitol salt agar. What is the pH indicator in mannitol salt agar?
Phenol red.
Phenol red. What is the, let me see how fast this. So what is it about this medium that makes it halophilic?
Salt.
The salt
Well, you gotta give me, you
6.5%.
gotta give me the
7.5.
concentration,
It's
7.5.
7.5%.
What is it about this medium that makes it differential?
Mannitol.
Mannitol. If the media is yellow around the colony, what does that indicate?
Acidic.
And what pathogen is that?
SSR.
Staph aureus. If it grows on this plate, give me a word or 2 words that would describe the organism.
Pathogenic?
Huh?
Pathogenic?
Not pathogenic.
Is it positive for mannitol?
Well, hold on. Halophilic's a good one. What did you say?
Is it positive for mannitol?
Nope.
Oh wait, no, positive for enteric?
Nope.
What was it?
Fermentation.
Like
Nope.
Staphylococcus? What was the
Yes,
question?
that's another one. You could say halophile. You could say gram-positive, catalase positive, right? So there's some words you can use here, but you can't say all fermentated because it's not.
Yeah.
Okay?
What was the question?
Am I getting it confused with
What are some words?
I can't hear you,
Am
Amy.
I getting it confused with the MSA?
This is MSA.
Oh wait, the MAC, my bad.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's coming. Here we go. Ready? PEA. What does PEA stand for? What's its application?
To in.
Application means purpose.
To
Oh,
grow.
If I just use that word, everybody likes it, right? But if I say application, like people don't know, what the hell?
So to inhibit gram neg.
Okay,
and
good.
kill
Are the gram
positive.
negatives killed?
No.
No, they're just slowly.
True or false? It is okay to use a PEA plate that is a month old.
No, because the gram negative will be growing.
That's right. It's false.
Yeah.
Just false. It's true or false. Right? True or false? Do not put T's or F's. True or false?
Yes or yes or no?
All right, here's EMB. What is the pH indicator in EMB?
Eosin
Eosin,
Y.
very good. Methylene blue and bile salts are added to this
But
medium.
they're
Why?
inhibitors.
They inhibit.
They
Inhibit-
inhibit gram
Positive. Very good. So, what is the principal substrate in EMB?
eosin and
No, no.
Lactose.
Lactose.
Oh.
Lactose.
What's the application for EMB? What's the application? Why is the purpose used? What's it used for?
testing water.
Testing water. That's what I need to see. Okay? If the organism shows up as a metallic green organism on this plate, what is the organism?
E.
E.
coli.
coli due to contamination.
Why is this hard? Why is this hard?
It's hard.
Because I forgot it.
Isabella,
I am so confused with these tests.
don't be confused. Compartmentalize them.
I made an Excel spreadsheet.
There is a beautiful spreadsheet already for you.
There's conflicting information on
No.
it from PowerPoints,
No,
microblogs,
there shouldn't
and then
be.
I'm gonna show it to you.
No,
because
just tell me.
I made notes.
Just tell me.
Okay.
As she's
Okay. For the catalase test,
Yep.
is hydrogen peroxide a substrate or a reagent?
both,
Okay.
is that conflicting? Isabella? Is it conflicting?
It was just confusing.
Oh.
It was confusing because it said that it was both and then.
Okay, I
in the
don't
notes
ever
it
want you
said
to use
that-
the word confused again.
Okay. what do I
Because you're
use?
way too smart to be confused. You need clarification.
Okay, I need clarification.
Can we feel conflicted?
For, for the,
You stay out of it.
for the bioesculin, it says to isolate an identify bacteria able to hydrolyze asculin in the presence of bile, differentiate Streptococcus species from Enterococcus species based on their ability to hydrolyze asculin in the presence of bile, and then it says identify group D Streptococcus and Enterococcus, and then identify group D Enterococci from group DH and K Streptococcus.
That's correct.
Okay, which one is true? 'Cause
All of
there's-
them. Turn the light on. It's just you weren't paying attention to me when I said this aloud.
Positive.
Because I know you and some other people told me you don't pay attention.
Okay, so.
Listen. Make a chart. Make it easy. This can be groups A, B, or C. This one can be group H, K, or D, non-enterococcus. This one can be only group D, enterococcus, which is Enterococcus faecalis or Enterococcus faecium, but only those two. This is not difficult. That's right there. All you gotta do is know that. It's in the PowerPoint.
So essentially, the bioasculin test in combination with
They run
the
in tandem.
6.5.
You have to run them together.
Oh, duh, I do remember that from lab.
Bioasculin and what? Run together?
6.5.
Bioasculin, the 6.5,
Because
sodium
tandem,
chloride have to be run in tandem.
You have to use them both. This is only good for gram-positive cocci that are catalase negative. If you do it for catalase positive, you're gonna be chasing phantoms. Do not make this hard. It is not hard. You have to think about it logically. That's what critical thought is. That's what this course is about. And there's a lot of correlations between what goes on here and what goes on in nursing. Because you're gonna have to do the same thing there. And in dental hygiene too. Don't try to get away. I saw you. You were like, you start thinking, your lips start going, oh, maybe you're eating, I don't know. Okay?
What's the last column there? Is that GP? What is that?
Group.
Group? Oh, group.
Okay, so this is what's most confusing to me. Okay, one resource says identify group D Streptococcus.
Okay, listen. Hey, look at that. Don't look at that. Only look at that.
That says group.
Only look at that.
I don't understand it.
Okay,
That says
group. G-R-O-U-P.
I don't even know what these groups are.
What
What do
words?
these groups mean?
It's on the chart.
It's on our
It's
chart.
in the chart.
You gave us a packet
The
with,
landscape
Who's that lady?
with all sorts of stuff. Just packet.
The landscape?
So they just group. So we need to memorize this chart.
That.
Yeah. Do it the smaller chart.
This resembles the groups, and the groups are right here.
But in the practical, we'll have the chart to look at.
No.
No?
What?
You just say you don't have to memorize the chart.
I,
Oh, it's for the unknown.
yes.
Yes, the chart's for the unknown.
I'm not gonna go from here and say, which one is bioesculin negative but 6.5 negative, and I'm not gonna do that. There's some that I will, those are on the board in the next room. That's all you have to know. Don't make it harder than it is. Okay?
Praveen,
Yes?
can you say what's on the bottom, the third row?
Here?
Yes.
Enterococcus faecalis, and faecium. And that is directly off the chart.
In the practical, we won't have to know the.
It should be right here too. It's all here. But if you look here also, this these two.
Thank you.
It's those two. Okay, let's get through the rest of this because I think everything else is gonna. All right, so, what is the principal substrate in EMB?
Lactose.
Lactose. Okay? I think we covered everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
else have a question about EMB?
No.
McConkey, A or B, which one is a lactose fermenter?
B.
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 Bile salts in crystal violet are added to this medium Y.
To inhibit, right.
Gram
Pos.
positive.
Okay, so it's almost always inhibiting gram positive, I feel like.
If it's, so again, if you think of it this way, the enteric lab, what did we do with the enteric lab? McConkey, Heptoin, EMB, oxidase. Those are going to be for graminetes only.
Okay.
And
If
then
you
the
think
next
about,
one was for-
if you think about the Staphylococcus lab, this is where I want you to sequester them. Staphylococcus, what do we do there? Blood agar, maltol salt agar, catalase. Those are the things that are gonna be principally involved for the gram-positive toxins that are catalase positive.
Okay.
If you think about the Streptococcus lab, what are the things that we did there? Blood agar with an anapetus, bile esculin, 6.5 salt tolerance.
That's why you have it like that on the thing. Okay. So I was like, what the heck?
I mean, guys, I've made this as easy as I can.
And I appreciate it.
You all just, I don't know, maybe, I can't be that charming, but for some reason, you kind of tune me out a little bit when we're talking, and then you come back later and try to learn everything, and that's just not the good way to do it. Okay? Good? All right, now, what's the principal substrate of McConkey?
Lactose.
Lactose. True or false, gram-positive organisms will grow McConkey?
False.
False. Oh, catalates, looky here. A or B, which one represents Staphylococcus?
A.
A or B, which one represents Micrococcus?
Micro.
Same thing, Micrococcus.
A.
A. A or B, which one represents Enterococcus?
B.
A or B, which one represents Streptococcus?
B.
B. What's the substrate in the catalase test? Because the definition of a substrate is what is being acted upon. What is the reagent in the catalase test? Hydrogen peroxide, because the definition of reagent must be added to a test to elucidate the result. So in this case, hydrogen peroxide is both a substrate and a reagent. What does a positive test do?
Bubbles.
Carbonate.
Yes.
The I mean, I would get it, but yeah. So it really is this equation. It is hydrogen peroxide. It gets broken down to water plus oxygen, and oxygen gets liberated by bubbles.
It either
And
looks
so you
like
get bubbles.
Sprite or it looks like water. That's how I remember it.
Whatever makes sense to you. Yes, I mean.
Do we need an overlay equation?
No. Would you like to?
No.
It's the
What
same
was-
thing,
what
just
was-
be broken down.
What's 24? What is it asking exactly?
Which media should you never perform a catalase test from? Blood agar. Why?
Because it creates a
Because
flaw.
it's enriched.
Because it has blood, and all blood has catalase activity. So if you put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide on a cut, it's gonna fizz like crazy. Why? Because the blood all has catalase activity. Okay? True or false, you should use a metal loop.
False.
I haven't even finished yet. So just a minute ago, y'all were all grumpy, and now here you are,
Hey,
all
we know
happy
this
again.
one. We know this one.
Look, guys, I am not here as a barrier, right? I'm the one who said we ought to take a group exam, even though a lot of you are like, no, we don't want to do that. And then you had the highest average ever in the history of me teaching on the group exam.
For those who take part in the group.
Oh, those who took part, yeah. Highest average ever. I had to look for things wrong. Can that be wrong? Can I make that wrong? I mean, like, No, I guess I can't. Okay, fine. Wonderful job. And so if you can do well on that, why is this little practical gonna be helped? Why is it gonna be helped?
Can we do it as a group?
Second that.
No, Isabella.
Fine, as a group.
Okay. Isabella is like a lawyer. She always wants something. Okay, here we go. So the Staphylotech, what species is the Staphylotech used against or
Staph
for?
Staph aureus.
Only Staph aureus.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. What's the mechanism of action for the Staphylotech test?
Agglutination.
True, but the mechanism is what's going on.
Antigen
The-
antibodies.
Antigen antibody, that's
Yeah.
correct. So the agglutination L is the result,
Okay. 'Cause I
but
think
the
I was-
mechanism is the antibody antigen reaction.
'cause I think I was calling this the coagulase
It's
test.
not.
Okay.
So the coagulase test is rabbit plasma,
Yeah.
and you put and it clots it. It's a
Yeah.
different enzyme.
Okay, that's not.
Okay.
So then
We
should
do
we
not
cross
have to
that
know
off?
Yeah, there will be no coagulase. We didn't talk about it. I actually said, hey guys, listen up. Some of my colleagues in other campuses still use coagulase tests.
Mhm.
I don't, because I've moved on. Why would I want to not bring you up to date and say, hey, you know what, coagulase is the gold standard, but it takes 4 to 8 hours, where we can do the same test as an antibody antigen reaction and take 4 seconds.
So is it still like the substrate plasma that's, cause I remember
The
one-
substrate itself, what's being acted upon is Staph aureus.
Staph
And what is attaching to it is the antibody against it that's attached to latex.
Wait.
Okay, it was the latex,
Latex.
that's what it was. Was it powdered or just the drop?
No.
Just the drop, right?
So the reagent is a liquid,
Okay,
but the antibody that's bound to the actual latex,
Is
latex
what?
is plastic,
yeah, okay.
okay?
So.
Or a type of plastic. Okay, here we go.
So the reagent is latex?
So the reagent is a combination of an antibody bound to latex.
So that we can see it.
Because when the antibody binds to Staph aureus, Samantha, you can see the clumping of the latex as the antibodies are attaching to it. Okay,
Sounds right.
good? All right. Here is a Kirby-Bauer test, right? What is the clearing around the disc called?
Zone of inhibition.
What is the growth on the plate called? Huh? No?
Grow on the plate.
Uh-huh. Starts with L.
Lawn.
Alon. Also confluent growth, right? So since we're
Is it just L-O-N?
LAWN, like you're mowing the lawn.
Oh.
Okay, so, yes? Zone of inhibition. Zone of inhibition. Because remember, the antibiotic will come out of the disc radially, and every time it comes in contact with something, it's gonna kill it. Okay, so, since we're not measuring anything, let's just use our, can you turn that light on, please, Karen? Let's just use our optics to tell us what might be, turn them all off. Let's just use our optics to figure out what's going on. Which of these, SSS, P, S, or CIX, is showing, I don't know what that was.
Okay, I'm not trying to get on the wrong button.
Is showing, I thought I saw a flash, right?
I did too.
No, it is on the light.
Oh, okay.
It's the light.
I thought somebody took a picture of me, I'm like, oh my God.
It's
So,
the light.
which one of those shows complete resistance?
SSS.
SSS. Which one of them is likely to be, which of them is likely to be considered sensitive?
P.
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 I have a
Good.
question.
Yep,
Question number 28, what is the standard for turbidity? I thought that was grow.
no. Starts with an M, ends with a D. Has an A in it. McFarland.
Oh.
How do you spell that?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, now we remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's for the sample broth.
Remember, the turbidity is directly related to the concentration of organisms in a test tube. Okay? we don't wanna overtax the antibiotic, so we want a very faint population so that we can see the true effectiveness of the antibiotic.
So
Okay?
the one that'd be most susceptible would be P, correct?
Correct. What about, would you, true or false? You would allow CIX to be administered to your patient?
False.
Why?
Because there's growth.
What is that colony in the,
In the.
what's it called?
Penetration.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. It was-
Starts with a B,
What is it?
starts with a B,
B or P?
B. Ends with a H, has an R in it.
Something.
Breakthrough! Oh, now that's right.
Uh,
How quickly we forget and how quickly we remember when we start spelling those.
I thought it was called penetration or something.
I've never heard it called that, Trav. Where did you hear me say that?
I'm not so sure.
Okay. Yep.
And then number 30, could you rephrase that question?
So why are you seeing the colonies growing in that zone of inhibition with CIX? One is breakthrough, the other one is there are two organisms in here, it's contaminated. One of them is sensitive, the other one's not. Why? Is this different than y'all's
What?
No.
presentation?
No.
No.
I don't know where you got yours. I haven't changed anything, I promise.
Mine looks the same.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we covered all this already. Anybody have any questions about any of these tests?
Number 32.
What was one used to, so the standard of inoculum is what?
You just have to make sure there's enough inoculum, No, 32 says ensure that a standard inoculum size is being plated before they, just make sure that it's inoculated to total the,
So that you're equal to the McFarland.
yeah.
Yep.
Is it standard to use a mixed culture in this? or-
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
You wanna have a purified culture, right? And so when we say purified culture, it means one organism. Because for one thing, if you have a gram-neg, we're gonna have a different panel of antibiotics than if it's gram-pos. And if it's Haemophilus versus E. coli, we're gonna have a different panel. Because those are just pathogens they work very differently. So you gotta have one organism, and you gotta have an idea of what it is.
So
Okay?
31 would, or 33 would be no.
Never, no.
But that was just stated as a reason that maybe why we have a breakthrough in the law. with
Correct,
CX.
because in that case, if you have growth in the zone of inhibition, one of them is being, if you have contamination, one of them is being affected, but the other one's not.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I couldn't tell from looking at it that there was two cultures in there.
No, there wasn't,
Okay.
but that's just one of the reasons.
Okay.
It was the same organism, it was just becoming resistant. How that happens. Okay? This is Hector enteric agar. What's the pH indicator in Hector enteric agar? Bromothioneal blue. What is the presence absence indicator for hydrogen sulfide production?
Is it the black center?
Which one?
Iron.
Iron. Okay. I mean, you could say ferrous ammonium citrate, but iron is okay. Okay? So what is the reaction for that particular colony? There are two parts to it.
The black one.
Lactose
Non-fermenter.
non-fermenter and
H2S positive.
H2S positive. That's correct.
So it's
You gotta have
not-
both. If you don't have both, it's wrong.
Okay.
Okay? What pathogen is associated with being a non-lactose fermenter and H2S positive?
Salmonella.
Salmonella.
Mhm. And Shigella, right?
Nope.
Oh.
Shigella
no
is
H2S.
not H2S
Oh,
positive.
okay, okay.
And since I didn't bring Shigella out, I won't ask about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Lactose non-fermenter and H2S.
Positive, correct. All right, this is a fermenter. This is Hector. This is a fermenter. But what is the application for Hector? What do we use it for? What's its application? Testing of poop. Yeah. So if you have a lactose fermenter in poop, we don't care. It's normal. Okay? When we streak poop, we want to see a bunch of this. That means you're okay. If we see lactose non-fermenters or lactose non-fermenters H2S, then we worry. Okay?
So it's useful.
And that doesn't mean that if it's a lactose non-fermenter and H2S positive, that it's gonna be salmonella, because Proteus will do the same thing. You just have to work it out further. Okay? All right, now this is bioesculin. Okay, so know this. We don't have to do that. Know this. Okay? So here is some of the diagnostics. Name a beta hemolytic gram-positive bacterium that is found in the group B Streptococcus group, which is what? Streptococcus agalacti. It's the only other major pathogen in the group. Where is it found? Yeah. Yes. Yes. For about 40% of women, it's found in the vagina. We have to be careful with this when babies are being born, because we don't want to have
The strep B test that we
strep
have to
B.
do.
That's correct.
I know what you're talking about.
It can lead to
Cause then you
respiratory.
have to get antibiotics when you're in labor through an IV to prevent the baby from getting sick.
Correct. So a throat culture gave the following gram-positive coccus in chains, beta hemolytic, catalase negative, vasotrace and susceptible. What is the genus and the species? Which one? Pyogenes. What's the big hint?
It's-
The A. Okay? I think, I can't do that. Decarboxylase, what's the pH indicator in decarboxylase test?
Oh, it's a bromo.
Bromo creosol.
Oh,
Name the 3 substrates that could be in decarboxylase test.
Arginine,
Orangine.
lysine.
Lysine. What, in order to make the test valid, what has to happen?
You need to put mineral oil.
And what does mineral oil do?
Anaerobic environment.
Yes,
So for the substrate, it's 3 different tubes.
3 possible different substrates.
Okay.
They're all run individually.
Are they run in tandem or?
And what you're gonna find out, Isabella, is that you can pick one or the other, because these are confirmation tests for your unknowns.
Yeah.
You pick one to confirm that that's what you have. Okay. Then you have phenylalanine deaminase. What is the substrate in the phenylalanine deaminase test?
Phenylalanine.
Phenylalanine. Goes back to that rule, if you know what the name of the test is, a lot of times you know the substrate. What's the reagent in the phenylalanine deaminase test? Ferret chloride. How do you inoculate SSB? And what is the positive test look like?
Green.
Green. Done. How many people feel stressed?